Hello everybody, today I'm going to talk about Donkey Kong Country Returns for the Nintendo Wii. Now, Donkey Kong Country, if you're unaware, let me explain. Donkey Kong Country was a Super Nintendo game released as a revival of the Donkey Kong franchise by Rare. Of course, it had many things to set it apart from the competition, such as being rendered with expensive high-end silicon graphics computers that were purchased. And eventually this helped Nintendo have a partnership with Silicon Graphics, which ended up in the development of the Silicon Graphics design Nintendo 64. Of course, this was supposed to be amazing as it had pre-rendered graphics, and of course Nintendo ended up having many late Super Nintendo games have these pre-rendered graphics. I mean, even if the gameplay didn't age too well, it blew everybody away and sold like hotcakes. Fast forward years later. Now, after that fad has passed with either pre-rendered graphics or similar things such as sprites and stuff, everything's moved to 3D, and of course, Nintendo's got the Wii. And of course, they decide to make a new Donkey Kong Country game. Of course, this is met with tons of praise because the series has been sitting idling and Rare's gone because Nintendo's lost many of their second-party developers from the West, with the only one being Retro Studios. So Nintendo decided to have Metroid Prime developer Retro Studios develop the new Donkey Kong Country. Is the game any good, or was this game just another dud from the Wii era? Let's find out. So the first thing you notice is the storyline. I've skipped through the cutscenes so you don't have to watch them, but basically, let me explain what they are. Basically, Donkey Kong's bananas get stolen. Really, that's the storyline of the game. I'm not even making this up. But anyways, let's talk about the graphics, since this was the original selling point of the original Donkey Kong Country. The graphics look bleh. I mean, I'm not even kidding. They look in between the GameCube and the original Xbox. I mean, they just look kind of bleh. Sure, it runs at 60 frames a second, but it just looks bleh. I mean, you remember how the original Donkey Kong Country, you can look at past the retrospectives. People will talk about how it blew everybody away. This game isn't going to blow you away with its graphics. I mean, let's be honest. These graphics look... The only good part is that they run at 60 frames a second. That's it. The graphics are pretty much bleh compared to the original. Sure, the original had advantages of being pre-rendered, while this doesn't. It's just a Wii game, and the Wii was a weak system. Nintendo dropped the ball on that one by making it an underpowered console, but seriously, these graphics look bleh, especially considering this game came out in 2010. And yeah, that should tell you enough. Anyways, let's get back to the gameplay. Since after all, whenever the graphics are bad, apparently the gameplay should matter the most, right? The game is pretty much, when it comes to gameplay, the same platformer stuff you've already played before. Run around, jump on enemies, just like certain other games. Collect bananas, and if you get 100, just like Mario and Sonic, you will get an extra life, or balloon as they show it. And of course, did I even mention that they shoehorn motion controls into this? Yes, this game can be played with both the Wiimote sideways or the Wiimote and nunchuck. I'm playing it with the nunchuck, but even if you play it with nunchuck, there's no classic controller or GameCube support. Keep in mind, you still have to do stuff such as waggle the controls. You want to do that blowing thing? You have to hold down and waggle. You want to jump on them or do the beatdown thing where you boom, boom, boom. You have to do the same thing with the controller. Waggle it. I mean, you see these button prompts a lot. I mean, even from the first part of the game, when you even break out of the house, you have to waggle, 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 waggle. And look, the controls suck. I'm not making this up. The controls, you'll die, you'll bump into enemies when you don't want to because the controls feel iffy. I don't know if it's because of the nunchuck being just a crappy controller. I don't know if it's because they shoehorn motion onto it just to do basic stuff. I don't know. But it feels bleh. I mean, really. That's what you could describe this game as. The same old bleh stuff. I mean, it does nothing really new that another platformer hasn't already done, and it feels just like many other platformers you've played already before. If you're looking for a new, fresh take on the platformer genre, you're not going to want to play this game because this game really offers nothing new. The only good thing I will say about this game is that even though the music's blah, even though it's mostly the same stuff you've already played, the game does offer this amazing thing, which is actually Nintendo surprisingly resurrecting a franchise that was supposedly dead. Of course, and it did pay off because the game sold about 5 million copies. Maybe not the best on the Wii, but it sold a good amount for a Wii game. So, my thoughts on this game? It's blah. I mean, honestly, this game is just mediocre. It wouldn't have been too bad. I mean, sure, it would have been just a forgettable game, but the thing that really makes this a bad game, the controls. Apparently, somebody at Nintendo thought the only control scheme you'll ever need is the Wiimote and Nunchuck, and that's what this game plays like. It has shoehorned motion controls, and it just plays like crap. And that's pretty much the main problem with this game. This game really isn't anything new. I mean, it's got that same generic look as New Super Mario Bros., and it just plays blah. I mean, it looks like a GameCube game, and it's just nothing that you can't find with any other platformer. I guarantee there are so many better platformers out there than this game. This game is not one of them. You could be playing a more memorable, more fun game, and this game, just meh. I mean, sure, the only difficulty comes from a few cheap deaths here or there because of the awkward controls and level design, but all in all, I'd forget about this game. There are better games you could be playing, and that's all I have to say about this game. And if you thought this game was safe from rehashes, just like modern day Nintendo, this game's been rehashed twice. First, they made a 3DS port, but then they decided to make a sequel for the Wii U. How amazing is this sequel, you may ask? Well, all you have to do is look at screenshots. Not only does the game look the same, but here's something even better. Remember how I mentioned this game lacks online co-op? Well, Nintendo announced the Wii U and they said it was going to have better online. Where is this better online? So much for that, because as you can clearly see, the new Donkey Kong has no online whatsoever, just like the first one. But hey, motion controls are fine, right? And that's really all I have to say about this. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more, and please, there are better platformers than Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze. And I mentioned Tropical Freeze even looks the same in that screenshot, kind of.